Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Douglas in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place at the rather statuesque, picturesque Clontarf Castle Hotel, having recently been acquired by foreign investors. Frances Beaumont, you wished a meeting with the regent of the Tremere, and she has politely extended you an invitation to the new home of her clan within Dublin proper. You've been informed to please arrive at 10 o'clock sharp, and the regent will have time to see you.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, Francis will show up in his general attire. Has the only real difference is that he has gloves on. Fairly nice looking, slim leather gloves, but perhaps to mask the very obvious embedded mess in his hand. And far too many things are getting embedded into his body. That really needs to stop. He is not about that pierced life. He does not have any piercings at all. That is not what he's into. So yeah, he will show up well dressed, well equipped. Yeah, he does have concealed armament. He has a revolver in his jacket.
Does he arrive alone?
I mean, he'd really like not to, but no other Tories are available right now. So
you can bring a ghoul.
I'll bring a ghoul. I'll bring. I need some security. This is sketch. This is Tremere territory.
You will also know that as of yesterday evening, via the declaration of Prince Stalheim, this hotel and all of the surrounding areas, up to and including various different estates, essentially Domain 4, has been allotted to Clan Tremere.
Makes sense. It is to the clan and not to any one specific individual.
Correct, though you can safely assume that the hierarchical nature of the Tremere means the regent will control the domain.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 110%. Francis is no issue with this. This isn't really. This is kind of news.
The door will be opened by an individual who is dressed in very ordinary, nondescript clothing. He bows his head respectfully as you step across the threshold.
Yeah, Francis.
Welcome, sir. Would you like me to inform the mistress that you've arrived?
Yes, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you.
What was that? Sorry, Chris?
He says, why, yes, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you.
As you wish, sir. Would you care to take a drink, perhaps? I can have something brought up from the bar.
Why, yes, I'd be very grateful.
What would you like, sir? Sorry, he asked, what would you like?
The blood of weeping children, no.
Mean?
Very mean.
And Francis takes 20 ag.
And Bright of a Crimson Knight. Oh dear. Francis thinks, because he didn't necessarily state what bar meant, so. Francis will just ask for some red wine.
Very good, sir. I will have the mistress informed that you are here. Would you please take a seat over there? He will denote there are two large, comfortable couches in front of what at one point must have been the reception desk. I will be down with your drink momentarily, sir.
Thank you.
And he proceeds to posh away in another direction. Because as we all know, Posh is secretly a form of locomotion.
Yes, as Francis will also verify by poshing his way over to the lovely chairs.
Katya, has Babby been quieted down?
Yes, I think he's given a bottle, so.
Okay, be happy now. Be happy. You have been informed that your guest has arrived.
All right. Happy, but still talking, apparently. She would make her way down the steps, wearing this.
Of course she does.
Now, I've always said that she's, personality-wise, Toreador or the mirror. Sheriff, it's good to see you. Would you like a tour?
Primogen von Essen, you are looking sublime, and yes, I'd very much appreciate it. Well, thank you. You're going to kiss your.
We've started.
If you allow me to do that.
She would allow it.
It is a very rare gift, Sheriff, to be allowed such privileged access to one of our domiciles. This figure is standing on the stairs. He wasn't there a moment before, but by God, he is now.
And then Francis is like, "Oh, at night he's ruined." Francis will just turn to Stalheim, because he doesn't really know his actual status outside of the. Well, he doesn't know his status within the Tremaine. He doesn't really know his Camarilla status ever since he stepped down from the Princeton. Francis simply says, "Yes, it is a rare honor, one that I'm quite thankful for."
Stalheim steps down the stairs. He will stop at Katya. He will take her hand in his, and he will kiss it very softly, just above the knuckle of her ring finger of her right hand.
Good evening, Judge Stalheim. I had no idea you'd be joining us.
Ah, my dear Regent, I'm merely here in order to reclaim the clan's property from the good sheriff.
Oh dear. Yes, there is that little matter, isn't there?
Indeed. Now then, he sits himself down. He has a cane in his hand this time that you haven't seen before, but he's walking with it. You actually, Francis, if you'd like to give me a perception alertness check, you can.
Yeah, I do actually have a specialty in object. Oh no, that's awareness. Whoops.
Yes, this is definitely alertness. Or, no. Do you have medicine?
Let me double check. I don't think he does, but I'll verify that real quick. And
if he doesn't, Katya does.
No,
I'll just roll awareness.
Cool. It will be difficult. Actually, no. A really odd dice pool. Roll me perception melee.
Ooh. It's a cane. I have because I got melee 5, I got 2 specialties, if I'm doing that correctly. Got swordsmanship and stakes.
And Katya, you can indeed roll. It's not actually to do with the actual weapon itself. It's to do with something else. And Katya, you can roll perception medicine if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay.
I get. Do either of my specialties apply?
They do not.
Okay, I just get 5 successes then.
Okay.
Difficulty what?
Standard difficulty.
Okay.
You can pop all specs to lower the difficulty.
Yeah, no, she's not seeing anything at all.
Okay. This is going to sound really weird, Francis, but Francis, the Regent, you've seen him move before, and he generally walks favoring his right-hand side, because most of us do. Particularly if you're a fencer. You generally fence with the hand, you generally tend to favor the hand that is your fencing hand, your main hand. However, the cane is clutched in his left hand, which is wrong in the sense that it is a departure of form because he's also leaning on it quite heavily without trying to show that he's leaning on it.
So in other words, he's hiding the fact that he favors this hand.
No, he's hiding the fact that he's very injured.
Oh,
You've seen fencers do that. Basically, he doesn't want to give the appearance that he is as hurt as he is.
no. But yeah, Francis mentally notes that, but doesn't bring it up.
He sits down, and as he sits down, you see his hand shake momentarily, and it looks very involuntary. Now then, we shall discuss. I would like to know what happened. I've heard Miss Von Essen's report, but you looked into the creature's eyes. I was curious what it is you saw looking back at you.
It was. The twisted reflection of a woman. Black eyes, ichor leaking slightly out of them, like pus. He'll just give the general description of the creature.
How interesting. How very interesting. He leans forward. As he does so, you notice a very slight. The only reason you notice this is because you're looking. He winces ever so slightly. That is very interesting. Now then, I would assume that you would like me to reclaim our property with as much expediency as possible.
Yes, preferably with as little collateral damage as possible, if you'd be so kind.
Remove your glove.
He does. The Starheim obviously sees that the embedded emblem is obviously has charred his flesh, indicating it's done its job.
An immense amount of effort went into the creation of this little bauble. I slaved on it for an entire week. I'm glad that it did its job, however. He moves his hand. He holds your hand down with your palm facing towards the coffee table. And he puts his hand facing up, so just underneath yours, and very deftly with his fingers, he moves the tips of his fingers along the underside of the palm of your hand. And as you do so, you feel the embedded metal rip itself out of your flesh. It's painful, but it doesn't cause you any more damage.
Yeah, it's just hurts. Francis obviously deliberately tries to hide any hint of pain. He is fairly well versed in being hurt, so his reaction is probably fairly muted, to be honest, considering he's been fighting for a very long time.
as the bauble, as he moves back the emblem, the centerpiece of the necklace, because the actual chain the necklace was on melted away to nothing. It was basically it superheated, so it was so hot that it basically became entirely liquid, and yeah. But he moves his hand back. The small bauble, the small emblem moves free in his hand, like free of gravity, before he simply snaps his fingers and it vanishes. Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Well, with that in mind, I believe I shall leave you in the capable hands of Miss Von Essen to be your hostess for the evening.
I see. Well, it was good to see you again. He's not actually lying because he did need this removed, so that's actually true for perhaps the one and only time. What simply say? And allow me to thank you again for your efforts in aiding us against the Red Lister and righting Elysium.
Lord Aishar was my contemporary. In many ways, he is a burden that our clan must bear.
Well, I'm glad to see that responsibility is being taken, and that I can assist, was able to assist in lightening it somewhat.
Yes. Yes. He stands. He actually stands rather seamlessly. You'd assume that there was a willpower expenditure in standing up that seamlessly. As he will say, I will also give you a warning, Sheriff. The name of her birth and the ritual used to create them, our servants, the gargoyles, have become unstable. We have been forced to correct the threat that they now pose. One of them was lost when my hunter-killer teams tracked it into the sewers. It's still at large.
I assume the Nosferatu are aware, considering they make their homes there.
Perhaps. However, the Nosferatu have their sympathetic connection to these creatures, and they can all pose a legitimate threat, now that they are as easily manipulated via the Red Lister as they seem to be. Just a note, Sheriff. Just a note.
You have my thanks.
He looks over at Katya, and he says, this is a fine building you have selected, Regent. I look forward to seeing it when it is complete. If you require any reagents in order to make it feel more homely, my chantry in Belfast will be at your disposal.
You, Lord Starline. It's much appreciated. Have a lovely evening.
Yes. Yes, I will. He will say. As he will walk up the stairs, and as he does, Bishop, he will do that trick that I know you fucking hate.
Yeah, I figured. He always does it in my presence, apart from the time where I disappear instead.
I was going to say there are 3 NPCs who have that path, and I fucking love that path. One day he'll teach Katya how to teleport.
Boo! This is why the training was done. All right, and Francis is left alone with Katya, the regent, And Francis is left with a somewhat open wound that he will spend blood to close. Obviously, it's an aggravated. The wound itself is aggravated, but he can at least close the. Can at least use his blood point to make it scar over and begin the healing process. So he'll do that.
Probably the best option there anyway.
He's been spending like a blood point a night to make sure that he doesn't lose too much blood. So I think this is probably his third or fourth blood point now. So.
Well, it's, not like too much more can happen. Well, I won't say that because...
Don't say that. That's wrong. That's an objectively untrue statement. I've been through too much in 1 month already. All right. Well, Francis will simply look back towards the regents and simply say, "Well, almost as good as new," he says, looking at his hand.
Almost. Not quite. Now, we were about to do a tour, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we were.
We haven't exactly made it home just yet, but we're getting there.
You're giving yourself 4 months, if I recall correctly.
Yes, plenty of time to make any necessary modifications.
I can only guess as to how extensive they will be.
Yes, you can only guess.
So, where would you like to start?
Come to the Great Hall. It is lovely, at least during the night. During the day, it is a little too sunny for my liking.
Well, we don't exactly have the displeasure of viewing it at that time of the day, so I shall enjoy it for what it is now.
It's one of the things I love about this place. Plenty of areas where the moon and stars can be viewed. Without having to be outside, of course. Because the rain just is absolute murder on my hair.
Well, I suppose our condition rather trivially resolved that then.
We can still have bad hair days.
That's true, but I find we have to put the effort in now.
Very true.
To be fair, both
Still
of us
doesn't,
have gone... Oh, sorry.
still doesn't mean I like the rain.
I do not mind the rain. I find it to be quite refreshing.
It can be under the right circumstances.
It definitely fits the mood for my kind of work.
I would much prefer a party or an event like the one coming up, I believe, Friday, is it?
Francis smiles. he he looks just ever so slightly excited as he says, "Yes, that is something I'm not going to miss." Sheriff duties on
I
that.
would not miss it for the world. Parties have kind of always been one of my favorite things. I suppose that makes me a bit odd for my clan, but
Clan is made up of all sorts. My clan is often considered the social type, but we have our fair share of hermits.
very true. There are your artists that prefer to be in their solitude. Me, I am much too social, much too extroverted.
Yes, if I might say, you seem very direct.
Well, I try.
It does not go unnoticed or unappreciated.
Really now.
Really now.
I do believe I owe you a glass of wine, if I heard correctly earlier.
I believe if your servant is any good at his job, you would have, yes. I can only hope so.
Oh, not one of mine. Mine would have been back by now.
Fair.
My servants know they get rewarded for prompt service.
I must admit, I'm rather spoiled when it comes to customer service.
Oh. And how did that come about?
Well, I can't argue it's just from being a dainty little rose, but I dare say that would be as vague as it would be unfair to you to give you such a non-answer.
Sometimes being vague is for the best, other times detail and directness are favored. All depends on the situation.
I suppose having the favour of my clan and for so long having been located within a city in which they had a great deal of power came with certain perks.
It certainly can.
That and, well, If there's anything my clan is good at, it is providing strong customer service. No club quite like a Toreador club.
Very true, very true.
Or restaurant, or gallery, museum.
There, I might have to protest. The Elysium in Orlando is one of the best I've ever been in. And it is staunchly Tremere.
I've never been to Orlando.
I'll have to take you sometime.
I'd be very happy to join you.
Of course, we seem to get as much rain there as we do here, so...
Yes, that is the one thing I do miss about France and, well, Mediterranean Europe. It is the sunshine.
Yes. Almost makes me miss Germany.
Germany has light? You must have better luck than I.
Yes, it does. Then again, I lived there for a very long time, so...
Where so, if I may ask?
Well, I was born in what would eventually become Berlin. Eventually.
Ah, Berlin. If I recall, the slow death of the Tremere. For the angry cries of an innocent child, it is fitting.
It's very fitting.
Yes, Berlin. I've been there once, not really my scene. I do feel as if the kindred there could do a bit of lightening up with.
They are quite serious, aren't they?
Yes, it is. You'd have thought when a Markavian took control of the domain that things would have become a bit more how to put it, interesting. Take some of the stale wear and tear off it, but no, just as.
Well, I haven't lived there. Oh heavens. I left not long after World War II ended, so.
Yes, but I can imagine us seeing Berlin as two very separate cities then.
It really is. It's. Especially back then.
Silence is measurable, as Francis kind of considers that. Yes.
What troubles you, Sheriff?
Just it causes me to reminisce. Those were not the best of times, to say the least.
No, they really weren't. Of course, Germany has been It was unpleasant even before that for a while, but World War I caused that.
And then the world
Seems
decided
we
to go
Germans
double or
are
nothing. Oh, sorry.
It seems we Germans are always on the wrong side of history, but that's neither here nor there.
That's interesting. When I think about it, I discovered that I am actually significantly older than the country of Germany.
Come to think of it, not exactly a spring chicken myself, so.
It's quite interesting, really. You have the United Kingdom, then a century later you have the United States, and then another century later you get the United States of Germany.
Yes.
Almost feel like I missed out on the next big trend.
I think we'll retreat to the bar to get our own drinks, as it appears we are on our own.
Yes, let's. Evan, is Stalheim coming back? I'm scared.
You don't know. He might, bitch, he might be. Bitch, I might just put up Lord Aishar's phone and fuck with you.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Huh?
Well, that's just cruel.
I mean, think about it like this. The Red Lister could be your friend.
No.
It seems, he already, knows exactly who Katya Sire was, so.
He didn't just say he knew, he said he actually taught him.
Have fun with that information, Katja. Hey, your soul was mentored by
Satan.
Cameron number 3.
I mean, because come on, guys, let's be fair. No way in hell is the Camarilla ever getting number 1 off that list. It's just never gonna happen.
No, Mithras couldn't get that bitch off a list. Like, fucking.
Great.
That's okay. Eventually, the Tremere will probably power game some new ritual and she'll die.
It's like Blood Curse, only for one person. Oh, what the fuck?
What damn you, Tremere?
Number 1, stand up.
But yeah, Francis will go to the bar of Katja.
Yeah, she'd lead him on down to the bar and pour them both a glass of red wine.
I'm gonna read Katja's aura.
Okay.
I get 4 successes, so I can notice subtle shifts.
Okay, let me go look at what the colors are, because I can't remember for the life of me.
Don't worry, I've got the colors. I'll try and see if I can get them for you. I've got no. Oh, actually, that works. It doesn't work. Okay. Boom, there you go.
Oh, good grief. Okay. Right now, there would probably be, light blue for the most part. Oh, good grief.
Which then becomes just red and purple. And brown.
There we go. Sent the older sister to play with him.
Just smushing them all together. Shut up! Stop talking!
Basically.
So she's light blue.
Let's see.
See?
She's not suspicious, so we don't have to worry about that. There might be hints of light green, but not much.
Okay, so light blue, so mainly calm, ever so slightly distrustful. Francis will
Wow.
drink. Oh.
We just got ding dong ditched. I can't even.
You entertain your brother for the next hour.
Sad face. Rip.
Did you get further on the bed, Aaron? So are you guys down in the bar?
We're down in the bar.
Yes, now we are down in the bar.
You hear the sound of a cane tapping on the ground. It could be Stalheim, because he was leaning on a cane.
Oh, God.
It taps its way down. The bar is located down a kind of a long-ish, so about maybe 10 to 15 feet long corridor that has a marble floor. The bar itself has a hard wooden floor. But it is not, in fact, Stalheim who enters into the room. It is this gentleman.
I
Oh, I do beg your pardon. I didn't mean to disturb such an intimate gathering.
I do not believe we've been introduced.
No, we haven't. He extends his hand.
Francis will extend his hand. I'm going to aura perception him real quick as I do so. I get 6 successes. Tell me everything. Colors, bitch.
What is it you were most expecting to see?
I'm expecting to see a kindred or a ghoul.
You will see a kindred.
Okay.
He's currently, the only emotion there is calm.
Fair enough. Francis just extend his hand and say, Francis Beaumont, Sheriff of Dublin. Pleasure.
It is nice to meet you. And you, miss?
Katya von Essen. I'm a
Narrow
gentleman
eyes.
tremor.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am a traveler, or rather, a proprietor of sorts. I have merely come here in order to inform you that, well, I wish to inform those of interest or interested parties that there will be a soiree being held by myself at the end of this month. A gathering of like-minded individuals in order to bid on certain items of interest. And you two seem to be social movers and shakers. It's always good to get the word out whenever it is you actually want a decent price for lost items and objets d'art. Wouldn't you agree?
Francis is the cashier. This is her territory. So he'll kind of, go with whatever she says.
Now, I don't know if you're aware, but the hotel is closed at the moment.
Oh, this fact I am vehemently aware.
And may I ask who let you in?
The door was quite simply unlocked, madam. No one let me anything.
Now, if you knew it was closed and you came in anyway,
In order to inform you for something to your benefit. I am quite happy to leave. I have said the piece that I needed to say.
We'll keep your offer in mind.
Good. I have no doubt that you will. It has been a pleasure to meet you, sir and madam. I shall look forward to seeing you at our event. He will turn, and he will cane his way out of there. You will notice neither of you got his name.
No. It's that
well, that
tradition
was
is such a...
interesting.
To be honest, I'm not even surprised.
Hmm.
Domain is such a porous concept here.
It certainly seems so.
You'd almost think some people should buy security for their domains. I mean, what?
Shut
How
up,
do you
Evan.
think? How do you think I'm getting influence? Alright. Francis will
Where were we?
Yeah, he just kind of closes his eyes. A drink.
Yes.
Arcane's trending here. Should I bring one of my own?
It certainly seems that they are. That's the second one we've seen this evening.
It is a very stereotypical mystic thing, I suppose. But I've also seen Venture with them.
Yes, Venture are fun when they want to be. But most of them seem so uptight. At least the ones I've met.
It's true, they are, how to say, more built for wheeling and dealing than diplomacy. Or should I say... So, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
It just seems so boring. You need to have fun. We're alive. We're, well, immortal. We may as well have fun.
Maybe they think what they're doing is fun. Oh, there's a rather ominous thought.
Well, I suppose. I prefer something a little more lively.
I have met Fun Ventru before, a few in Paris. They tend to be on the younger side, though.
I imagine the younger ones probably would. They're not as, stern and serious.
I do like my anti-establishment Venture.
Then again, I've met a lot of Tremere that were very stern and serious.
I wasn't... Oh, you won't say anything, that fucking guy showed up.
I do hope to your satisfaction. This is the guy who let you in, buddy. Wow. Oh, my ears. Thank you. Yes, this is just the old guy who let you in. It's fine, Francis. He's a friend.
Now that someone's broken in, I do need to check his aura because I need to know he's on the up and up, because, I mean, that last guy who showed up with a cane certainly wasn't. I get 3 successes. Is he a kindred?
No, he's a ghoul.
Okay, that helps. Yes, it has been, thank you.
Well, my manners. My name's Egbert. I'm the custodian of the chantry. I see to all of the day-to-day affairs. If you require anything to make your stay more pleasant, you just call for Egbert. I shall come skipping.
I shall keep that in mind, thank you, Egbert.
Francis, he lifts up your wine glass and puts it on a coaster. And he then poshes out of the room.
We'll fucking kill him. Wow. Wow. I'm not sure how to feel about that. How to feel about that.
I love going from one to murder. It just involves a coaster. Okay.
I don't know how to feel about this. Never mind. Francis Francis will take another drink. He's checking to make sure there's not blood in it, by the way, because he's in a Tremere geometry. He's paranoid as fuck. I assume not.
There would.
I assume not, because paranoid as Francis is, he also recognizes that that would be also very foolish on the part of the Tremere, and they probably wouldn't do that just as a sort of basic matter of practicality. Yeah. Yeah. Not that even matters to be one step down, but
I've met plenty of Tremere in my day that were far too stern and austere. My husband being one of them.
You're married?
Was.
Ah, my condolences.
He was also my sire.
Hmm. Then I'm not sure whether
Though I
I'm
did
also...
not have him.
Oh. Sorry, I'll let you speak.
I didn't have him with me for long, though, so at least not after he embraced me.
I'm sorry to hear.
Oh, quite all right. He deserved exactly what he got.
Well, if nothing else, I do find you a welcome change.
What, having a beautiful woman as the primogen for Clan Tremere?
And a gracious host.
Now that is something I did learn from my husband. Etiquette. A lot of it.
Yes, was something drilled into me by my own sire. Not something I grew up with. I learned other skills.
Oh, I also had it taught to me very much growing up, but when you come from old money, that's what happens.
Interesting how the value of money fades after one becomes embraced.
Yes, it really does. I would have never dreamed of buying a place like this before.
Well, I suppose it's just so easy.
Yes, when you have as long as we do to gather funds.
On a side note, Egbert is just literally walking around dusting the room. He has one of those old-timey feather dusters.
Oh, Jesus.
Man, you know, Catcher, your clan is just ruining what you're trying. You're ruining the mood right now. You know.
You know what? It's not my fault.
Your clan is so bad at this. You're right. Yeah, you are just literally the only social face of the clan.
I will have you know, sir, I dusted for the Duchess of York.
Which one?
Madam, to ask that, there has only been one Duchess of York. And he will posh off angrily.
Good. Leave us alone.
Oh my god.
Ugh, heavens.
I honestly thought you said
See.
Evans there, and I had to read I was like, what? There are more than one of me? What? Okay.
This is a well-established truth at this point, Evan. There is more than one of you.
Is this why Evan never sleeps? Because there are in fact more than one of him.
I feel like this is a prevailing
Exactly.
fan theory. It's just placed on the local wikia.
Oh my god, Darkness Dublin needs a wikia. That is my new goal.
I mean, I did tell you that my plan was, not the best party hosts. That's why it's usually Toreador that are hosting the parties and having all the fun.
I'd say I'd fit in more as a security manager, although conveniently a Michelin star restaurant does happen to fall within the boundaries of my domain. Can't imagine that.
Oh, I figured I would invite you while you're here. I was planning on gathering up some of the ladies that are going to be attending this little soiree on Friday to, well, I wouldn't say purchase dresses. They're coming from a private collection, but as close to dress shopping as it will be.
But the real question
I'll also be
is...
having. I'll also be having a tailor come in, so you will, if you wish to get a new suit for the event.
It's appreciated. The real question,
Well, I have
is...
to make sure my escort looks good. I cannot have him looking ratty if he's on my arm.
Oh, and who shall your escort be?
Oh, I don't believe you're a fan of him. The little somber lad that I snapped out of regurgitating his own blood.
Oh, you pick him, do you? You get stuck with him? Did you pick him or get stuck with him?
I picked him.
Interesting. Now I'm curious.
Oh, he's adorable. A little rough around the edges, maybe, but with a little work, he could be a fine gentleman.
Now, if only he could make use of skills that he's so happy to brag about.
Yes, we'll see about that. He has offered his help with whatever occult matters need dealing with, but I already have plenty of people for that.
Yeah, it's not exactly a niche with the Tremere and the Malkavians within the Camarilla, I must say.
He is quite sweet, though. He drove me the other night, or last night, I should say. No, it was the other night, wasn't it?
Can't imagine he drove you back, though.
No, he didn't. That's why he's going to be my escort, because he owes me.
I like you. He
Left me
literally
in the
wags
way.
his finger at you and says that and looks very entertained.
Oh, do you now?
Very much so. I must say I'm impressed by the way you settle your debts.
Yes, I mean, I could invite either one of my siblings or my childer, but they will have just arrived, so I wouldn't want to put any undue stress on them.
More than fair.
They should be arriving any day now.
Look forward to meeting with them. If for anything like yourself, of course.
My childer's a lot like me. My siblings, not so much. They're a little gruff and very serious.
That is a shame.
Then again, one of them is my husband's twin brother, so there's that.
What a complicated family life you lead.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Well, if nothing else, the contrast should complement you nicely.
Why, thank you.
I suppose I should be paying more attention to this. To this party occurring on Friday.
Yes, it seems like it's going to be quite the affair.
Oh,
Am
that's
I right
certainly
in
not.
saying that it's being hosted by a neonate?
So it would seem.
Seems so odd.
I know the lady in question. She's quite reputable back in Chicago.
Chicago. Ah. Coming from another big American city.
Just like yourself.
Yes. Only I've got a few, well, 100 years on her.
Still, I find that ever since the advent of the millennium, time has seemed to move ever faster.
Well, I did not even. I came out of torpor just as the millennium began, so. I believe it was August of 2000 that I came out, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong, but.
Or BRB 1 sorry.
Poshes violently. Posh, 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 posh.
Sorry, back. What did Catcher say?
And now I don't remember.
On a side note,
yes.
is Francis' goal, by the way, literally to flirt with every female PC?
I feel like I was going to make the scene. Francis should just start making a list. That's what the name of this scene was going to be. I mean, it's okay because Catcher's entire clan seems to be cock blocking her. So,
Right.
so I think everything's going to be okay. This goddamn right. She's married to Clan Tremere.
No.
That is a grim fucking statement.
She was married to someone in Clan Tremere, but not anymore.
I'm free.
She hasn't worn that ring in a long time.
Anywho.
Yes. Anyway. Yes. 2001. No. 2000. I don't even remember when I came out of torpor now, but around that time.
2001.
I had a lot of catching up to do.
Well, yes, you missed out on quite the turn of events.
Technology advanced rather quickly.
New technology, new wars, new anarchs. Also bad.
Yes. We had one of them in Orlando who actually believed in God and all that fun stuff.
Many of them do. Their rituals are, in many ways, a dark perversion of
No, funnily
Catholic
enough,
Christian ceremony. I'm sorry.
Funny enough, she was under a probationary period with the Camarilla instead.
Well, I can
wanted me to
see
know and Elysium, but she was a child, so
a child.
not really a child, but a neonate.
Hmm. I can see why you've taken an interest in your new escort. Have a
No,
thing
see, she
for.
annoyed me. He
Do you have
doesn't.
do you have a thing for shepherding strays?
I do not have a thing for shepherding strays. She got attached to me and annoyed me to no end.
What did become of her? Do you know?
No, I believe she still has quite the rivalry with another neonate in Orlando, though.
Well, at least she's enjoying herself.
Yes.
Still, I am generally quite conservative when it comes to the judgment of supposed converts. I find that many who do claim to have broken free of that wretched organization more often than not end up joining or becoming instead in a rather abusive rebuttal of our sect's mercy. Not to mention I've seen far too many false positives.
Didn't he help liberate the city, if I'm understanding correctly?
Am I inclined to believe him, given the absolute state he was in last night?
No, you're right about that, but that was something entirely different. I mean,
True.
you saw what happened to me.
It was not provoked by him, but rather.
And you saw what happened to me. I will be replacing that Kevlar vest, by the way.
Oh, why thank you. First shot's always free.
Well, I will be getting you a new one to replace it. That was out of my control that it got destroyed, but nonetheless, it was destroyed.
At least the issue's been handled for now. The Leasing is back to how it should be. And we can get back to business. Which will mean we have a blood hunt to conclude.
Really?
Yeah, actually, before he says that, I should bring that up, Evan. Because Catcher is a primogen, she is an official of court. This is something she should actually be informed about, right? Because I think when Francis discussed that this essential is meant to be kept between officials of the court. Yeah, Evan. Yeah, Evan. Evan. Just keep saying his name, will come back. Evan. Evan. Oh, PM. I PM'd him. He's not seen it. Evan! God damn it. Alright, well, before he says that, actually, I'm going to scratch that. We'll wait for him to get back. What we'll do is Francis will actually go on to the other topic of discussion, which is, so instead of talking about the bloodletting, we'll say, and the dire chess outside of Dublin.
Now, I believe you have to fill me in on all of that, as I am new to the city.
Mom, I need to pee.
Oh, jeez, go. Good grief. I am so sorry.
Get on your knees. Alright,
Oh, Lord.
which part? The turn, the place, the events?
The whole thing. I've been here a month, and the entire time I have been running around trying to find a chantry because we did not have one.
Yes, that the old chantry was abandoned, if I recall correctly. Oh, and by the way, the Red List was using us as a repository.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, that's been handled.
Good.
But yes, the dire chess, the spat domain. Frankly, it's almost as if everybody's forgotten about all of it. I remember when I first came here, there was a Sabbat bishop negotiating their surrender with us. A very strange creature, not of the 13 clans, but we worked out some proper terms. She got to live, go back to Mexico City. We got everything else, including her Templar bodyguards, or paladins. I believe the Templars are their assassins.
Oh, who knows?
Well, I do. I've been studying them for quite some time. It's become something of a, well, it's literally my profession, I suppose. But yes. They like to refer to their domains as dire chesses again. They seem to have a thing for the Catholic faith. Wouldn't really surprise me if they galled the bloody Pope.
Katya, you know that's nonsense. The Tremere ghouled the Pope years ago.
and then he retired, and the Giovanni galled for Pope.
Everyone's cooler than the Popey. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh God, is this the fucking is the Pope the new Rasputin?
Shut up.
But yes, they've just been sitting outside of our domain for quite some time, just festering, beginning to grow concerned. There's someone who has fought them for many centuries. It is quite clear to me that they are gearing up for another crusade. They would not wait in such decrepit hovels unless they were waiting or preparing for something. The size of their domain pales in comparison to ours. It's not a particularly suitable place for large amounts of kindred. And, well, despite they do love to procreate.
I will tell you the one important strategic advantage that their current location has, if you want, Bishop.
Yeah, sure. I do actually have Sabbat law too, so...
It has a deep water port.
Actually... So they're along the coastline.
Mm-hmm. It is one of the only big deep water ports in Ireland other than Dublin that can accept things like large haulage freight and things like oil tankers, etc.
Oh, fuck. Well, I know what they're doing now.
Took you long enough.
Speaking of which, do you know anyone who has connections to the shipping industry?
No, unfortunately not. Most of my connections are in the financial realm.
He's just, for the record, Bishop, he's just going to dust you poshly.
No, he's not going to do. No, he's not.
Fucking with you, continue.
Stop. Damn it, Egbert. I'm not a fucking ornament.
That depends if they take you and keep you here. You could be.
This is why I invested a lot of dots into celerity. To escape the wrath of the Tremere. Everything this character about is running away from the Tremere. The domain therein does hold a deep water port. I'm concerned they are waiting on more of their own showing up before launching their attack. They wouldn't be there if they weren't preparing to launch some sort of attack. I don't believe it for a second. If they thought this domain was lost, they would have headed to a larger, more suitable one, or simply scattered.
Seems like taken care of them.
Pardon? Sorry, Francis said pardon as he didn't hear you.
You're fine.
Teeny goggles.
Sorry, had to sate the child or with a rice puff.
As I said, go down the innate.
Yes, teeny gargoyle.
Teeny goggles. But yes, Francis just said pardon as he didn't quite hear you.
But yes, most of my contacts are within the financial world.
Interesting. Well, I suppose if I ever need anything financial sorted, I'll hit you up sometime.
Sorry, just a lot of background noise right now.
Oh, he says he says interesting. If there's anything financial he needs sorted, then he'll hit you up sometime. Francis has an idea in his head, or rather a suspicion. He's not going to discuss it. Well, that is an issue that needs resolving, and so do the Anarchs, but I believe the Anarchs can wait. Don't tell them that. But the Sabatar noise will be a priority.
That would be quite all right with me.
Be careful. If they do launch an assault on this city, your clan will very likely be one of its first targets.
Yes, let's not tell them that we solved that little problem, but
Fatter than Nosferatu.
certainly they will be.
Yes, well, I suppose
No,
given their...
without a doubt.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. You said something without a doubt.
With any luck, by then we will have protection in place.
I have no doubt he will. Just concerns me. Sabat tend to go all in. They are very much the sort that deals in absolutes.
Oh, they are much harder to find.
True. If there is one thing I have learned from my many years of experience, it is that if the Nosferatu get nervous, you should get out. But it's all something that can be handled in due course. There is actually another matter that I feel I should bring to your attention. It's nothing particularly serious. It's not an issue you need be too concerned about, but because it does involve one of your clanmates, I do feel the need to bring it to your attention. Ivanov. I had to investigate some matter.
For some reason, I'm lagging.
Oh yeah, pop in and pop back out and see what happens. Maybe it helps.
Poshing intensifies.
I think I am back.
Yeah, you seem to be.
And I'm not lagging like I was before. Yes, I do believe I've met Ivanov one time. I believe that was when I was given the position as regent. Which was a fairly limited interaction, and he was only there because he was dragged in. So.
Yes, well, I have been... I was investigating a complaint from the local Giovanni as he had employed their services for a boon. Unfortunately, it appeared they had been misled, as the Giovanni in question ended up being injured from an infernal ward going off in quite the explosion, from what I am told, which ended up engulfing the building, and as such they wanted the matter addressed and for me to investigate, which, considering it is a matter of a promise, does obligate me to at least look into the matter. Ivanov has been upfront with me, and one of his boons owed to Clan Giovanni has been increased a major. As far as I'm concerned, the investigation is concluded, and he was completely honest with me, so I don't feel the need to escalate the issue any further, but as primogen of his clan, and as a matter of respect, as you have the right to police your own as you wish, I just thought I'd inform you.
Well, I certainly appreciate it.
So you're up all wondering when at some point he suddenly goes AWOL for 3 days and 3 nights. Well, that would likely be because the Giovanni are calling him their boon. It still has to be registered with the Master of Harpies, so it is not official yet, but that is the stance I'm taking.
Then the matter's settled. No need to go any further. If you've taken care of it, you've taken care of it.
If it was more serious, you could perhaps imagine me being far more pushy. It's just a simple matter of writing the records, and I thought you should know. So. Yeah.
Pushy, huh?
And perhaps that is an incorrect of me, an accurate statement. I would have been a bit more direct in the way I approached Ivanov. The consequences would have been a bit more public, but I don't see any need to. You can attempt to contest the boon publicly, I suppose, but I don't imagine it will go well for him.
Yes, and I don't imagine he would.
If he does intend to, I shall let you know. He'll probably let you know before I do. You'd probably have a better time convincing him to stand down than I would. As much as the Giovanni are an independent clan and as such outside the tower, they still have a certain amount of leverage due to the promise, and, well, unfortunately, his boon falls right in the middle of that.
You are right, I can be persuasive when I want to be.
Can only begin to imagine.
Well, you did see me pull someone out of a frenzy. Which is no simple task.
True, and using an unconventional means of doing so. I'm quite impressed.
Well, it was the means that we had on hand, so...
Yes, I shall remind myself to take a steak next time. Didn't think I'd need it for my allies, but I suppose it pays to be prepared.
Yes, that was a rather crazy night. And not in the way I enjoy my nights being crazy.
No, it was... I did not enjoy that evening. Yeah, he doesn't look particularly happy now. This particular topic seems to have soured his mood.
I'm sorry if I've soured the mood, dear.
Perhaps it is because of my particular experience in matters such as these, but I tend to take the subjects and such situations very, very seriously.
Understandably so. We lost one of our own.
Not just a threat for cost. I'm sad to say I didn't get to.
I will have to send condolences to the clan.
It is deserved. Dmitri gave his life in service of our sect, and that should be given weight and respect. And
Yes, I know the Nosferatu have a slightly different way of approaching mourning the final death than we do, so I will give them time before I approach.
There is also the mortal cost to account for.
There is an unfortunate necessity.
I suppose it could be said. Takes a brief drink.
She would have been sipping on her drink throughout the conversation.
Yeah, he just kind of downs his upon saying those words.
On that note, let's change the subject.
And on that note, Bishop, that's one point, but no fucking. He's gonna get
Katya's
me.
the one who poured that drink. You don't get to say that.
Get out of here, Egbert.
I believe in the power of Egbert.
We don't. We had to
By the
pour
way,
our own drinks.
important note, Katya, you know Egbert isn't your ghoul, right?
Oh, well aware.
He
She
is,
doesn't have ghouls.
he is in fact Lord Skolheim's ghoul. Just thought I'd mention it. He's here to take care of the chantry. Keep it dusted.
And keeping Katya.
No, that's ridiculous. He's just here to make sure the chantry's nice and tidy because he doesn't trust you to keep it tidy. Like you're all
Well,
too
true.
messy.
She probably wouldn't do much cleaning.
Yeah, I mean, precisely why Egbert is here. See, his story's straight. He's clean. And he's here to clean you guys. Anywho.
But yes, at that, let's change the subject. Something less dreary.
Blackrock, have you visited?
Hmm?
Blackrock, have you visited it?
I have not. I haven't had time for sightseeing. It's been all work, 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 it seems.
And yet you are giving me a tour.
Well, yes, I have 4 months to finish this work.
I do hope I'm not part of the job.
Oh no, never.
I'm half tempted to peony that. I think I'm going to. What's her aura looking like when she
Okay.
said that out loud?
Oh, she's being honest. She's calm and
Alright, well, he succeeds, so yeah, does appear calm.
well, she's telling you the truth. She's not lying to you.
I'm gonna cook you.
Good, that'd be rude.
You are not going to cook my son.
I'm not sure how to respond to that. But yes, Francis was just saying. Blackrock was recently announced to be my domain, and as I said to you earlier, there is a lovely restaurant that just happens to sit within its boundaries. Very convenient. You're welcome to visit.
I might have to. Come pay you a visit sometime. Somewhere without prying eyes.
We do tend to get walked in on a lot here, but then again, I have been in Chantries a few times before. They are quite busy places.
Well, it would be busier, but still getting set up, as it were.
then perhaps a more private affair for our next meeting.
More private certainly sounds good to me.
This might be actually, no. He's seen her drink wine, so he knows that she can eat food. So actually kind of kills that conversation. Osmosis is useful. I have to admit, it's not quite the same standard as Delano's restaurants, but
no, he seems quite picky.
Well, given that his competition is only human, the attempts against him are earnest.
He is quite the character. I've only met him the once, but...
Oh, lovely gentleman. Absolute star.
Weird question. Who are you talking about? Because I walked away.
Delano.
Yeah. I don't know why. I thought you were talking about Aishar, and my response is that's really funny because his name is the Hebrew word for one of the stars in the Sirius constellation.
Yeah, we're not talking about that guy. I don't mention him by name.
No, we're not talking about him.
He sours my mood.
Gosh, she doesn't want to talk about him. She doesn't like him.
He
weirds her out. He knows too much.
But yes, if I can say we have a monopoly on anything in the city, it is the cuisine.
Well, I suppose it is a good thing to have a monopoly on.
Have to build a niche somewhere, I suppose. Smiles.
Of course, that's much like myself in Orlando. I own most of these salons and spas, so...
Well, metaphorical hats off to you.
Along with a couple designer boutiques, but those are mostly for my own fun.
You have a spa here? I might attend sometime.
Not here yet. I was planning on purchasing one once the lovely finding that purchasing this place has put on me eases.
Well, I look forward to its inevitable arrival.
And I will look forward to having your patronage.
Francis checks his phone. The old dozen text messages. I believe my duties are going to call me elsewhere.
Well, I will certainly see you again.
Almost assuredly.
Hopefully nothing too unpleasant.
Of course not. Although Dublin is setting a trend.
Yes, it seems so. It's been rather mad since I arrived.
That's one way of putting it.
Well, even though work calls you away, try to have a pleasant evening nonetheless.
Oh, don't worry, your presence has made it all the sweeter.
Aren't you sweet?
I'd be offended if I wasn't.
Every female character.
Da, da.
Do you have a
list.
pleasant evening, Sheriff? I'll walk you
all
out.
right. You'll take her on. And a hand.
And she would walk out with him, heels clicking on the floor. As she is never caught without heels on.
In that case, ladies and gentlemen, we shall draw our scene to a close. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.
Yeah, fuck off, Egbert.